Hi, in this video we will look into explaining the working principle of a simple hydraulic system. This type of question is very common to be asked in your paper 2, either your section B or section C. Now, let's look how do you explain the working principle of a hydraulic system for a total 4 marks. Now, first point, what happens here, as what I have briefed you in the previous video, a force is being applied on the smaller piston, and as you apply it on a certain area, what do we produce? We produce a pressure. So that will be point number 1. Now, let's move to point number 2. What happens to the pressure that we have produced? Remember, the pressure here will be transmitted through the liquid, towards the larger piston. So now, remember, the pressure are being transmitted. We also have learned the P1 and P2 is equal, so we don't need to state about P1 and P2. All we got to say here, the pressure is transmitted through the liquid. Okay, remember, it is just not transmitted. So what we got to say here, pressure is transmitted uniformly through the liquid towards the larger piston. Now, point number 3. What happens on the section here? Now, the pressure is being exerted on a certain area, and therefore what happens? You're going to produce a force here. But remember, due to the larger area of the larger piston, we will produce a larger force. So point number 3 states, a large force is produced due to the larger area of the bigger piston. Point number 3. Now, let's move to point number 4. How do we vary the force that we produce on the larger piston? The force can be varied by varying the area of the larger piston and the area of the smaller piston. So how do we going to vary the area of the larger piston and the smaller piston? From the formula, we know that F1 over A1 is equals to F2 over A2. So if I simplify this, the F2 now is going to be equals to A2 over A1 times by F1. And therefore, what we can say here, the force here depends on the ratio of area of A2 to A1. Means the larger the ratio of A2 to A1, therefore, the larger the force that you're going to produce on the bigger piston. So let's write down this in a form of words. Point number 4, okay, force produced So done. So this is a simple explanation about a hydraulic system. On the next video, we will look into the explanation of an hydraulic jack system. See you.